a lot of people right now are mad because we've conceded so much ground to the left that there is a growing swath, I would say, of hardline individuals who were once centrist or libertarian that see that kind of live and let live mentality has led to us conceding ground, because as we let them live, they use their rights to take away ours. And so when we come to a position like nominating a transgender, and I would say even giving the most press to a transgender, when it comes to what defines us as a party and what defines the right wing, if we don't draw the line at a transgender candidate, where do we draw the line? And we'll go to Amir, start there.
That's a very good question, because been talking to a lot of friends recently, and it's like, what are conservatives conserving? You know, what is the state of the conservative? What is the state of the Republican Party when you literally have a trans as the front lead as far as who's getting the most press? It's concerning to me, and I'm not sure where the party is going. And I'm starting to see now what people mean by why we necessarily don't need this big tent, because the tent just keeps expanding and expanding, expanding. And at what point does it stop? Because we see how far it's come now.
Yeah, Lauren?
Well, this whole conversation kind of reminds me of when Donald Trump was running the Republican primaries. A lot of people were bringing up his divorces, his very non-traditional personal life. You had the Stormy Daniels fiasco. I mean, even that, people knew about that before he was actually president. And, I was always of the opinion that if he's the best candidate, I am less concerned about his personal life. And frankly, if Caitlyn Jenner, I'm probably going to get flack on this, if she was actually coming out hard as someone like with DeSantis's policies, this would be a totally different conversation, in my opinion. But let's not forget, Caitlyn Jenner being trans aside, Caitlyn Jenner is just not socially conservative, even with the positions that she comes out. She is for all the LGBT anti-discrimination policies. She has said that repeatedly. So it's not even like this is a trans person who is saying like, no, we should be able to protect women's sports and all of these things. We should have Catholic adoption agencies, the right to refuse to adopt to same-sex couples. This isn't even someone that's doing that. This is someone who is economically perhaps right-wing, but socially progressive. Caitlyn Jenner, from everything I've seen, leans way more libertarian. So it's kind of like this topic doesn't even apply to Caitlyn Jenner. She's not really claiming to be conservative.
John?
I would make the argument that there's sort of a conservative to libertarian to conservative pipeline that I think most people progress through, myself included, where we are conservative in the sense that like, oh, I like America and I kind of don't like government, epic. And then you're like, wait a minute, the founding fathers, they wanted us to be libertarians. But then there are events, or even in my case, one single meme that get you to like snap out of that. And for me, it was realizing that, I'm not even kidding, it was one meme I saw, realizing that idealism suggests that we can yield the power vacuum, but that's not actually how human beings work, because we're flawed. Everybody knows this. The founding fathers knew this, etc. And so to achieve something like a truly libertarian society, you're basically in a sort of prisoner's dilemma where you're shaking hands and saying like, I'm not going to wield power. You're not going to wield power. We will live and let live, and we will all coexist peacefully. Except that the side that we're up against doesn't actually want to do that. It is the quintessential example, I guess, would be white silence is violence versus don't tread on me, right? They're going to come find you when you're having dinner, and they're going to demand that you stand up and say Black Lives Matter. And if you don't, you are immoral, and actually you are committing violence against them. You're complicit in that. Versus the right just saying, hey, do what you want, but just don't tread on me. And they're not going to do anything about it when they're actually like being tread on, which the flag suggests. The Gadsden flag suggests that upon being treaded on, you're going to at some point bite back. But the libertarians largely haven't done that. I mean, you even watch the footage from their conventions. Someone says that they think driver's licenses should be a thing, and there's just boo, boo, government bad. And it's like, government isn't inherently bad. Power could potentially be bad, whether that's corporate power, state power, it doesn't matter. And so libertarians are so rotted in the brain from pornography and drugs that they think that like, oh, as long as it's Bank of America screwing me over, it's okay, because at least it's not the state.
Okay, so that's what I want to bring into this, is that even as we're talking about this, I mean, what does it show us about our future in the right wing in general, whether you're libertarian or conservative, that if you can go to my screen for a second, Savannah, when you have somebody prominent like Tommy Lahren saying the attacks on Caitlyn Jenner are despicable, I'll go to bat for her every single time, and if you want to take my conservative card for it, take it and shove it. Your mob is no better than the left's, and in fact, it's uglier, is the fact that in the midst of all of the trials and the struggles that not only California is facing, but the country is facing, that the argument and what people are concerned about is whether or not people are calling Caitlyn Bruce. A great philosopher once said that you can be 2 out of 3 things: liberal, smart, or honest, but you can't be all 3. At Slightly Offensive, we're smart and honest. And if you like this clip, head over to Slightly Offensive YouTube channel by clicking right here, where you can find new episodes of our show weekly. We're bringing you the topics, news stories, and angles that will have you saying, why the hell wasn't I subscribed sooner? Also, don't forget to smash that like button and subscribe to this channel too.